The National Hurricane Center is tracking what could be the first tropical storm of the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season near the Bahamas. This could be the sixth consecutive year that a tropical cyclone has formed before the official start of the Atlantic hurricane season on June 1st. With the COVID-19 pandemic still on, disaster preparedness agencies must now be wary of public safety issues and reducing the possible spread of the virus in emergency shelters during severe weather events.
What would happen if we have a hurricane and persons report to buildings for shelter? How do we handle them in this COVID instance and this matter? We have spoken about it. As a number of things do happen in this country lately, there are certain things written in stone, I may say, by law, and they're totally ignored. So we have a serious concern about opening the shelters and persons reporting to the shelters, and we don't know their status. We want to know what is being put into place for if we have that level of eventuality.
The National Emergency Management Organization NEMO has been in discussions with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency to draft health and safety protocols for disaster shelters. As if dealing with COVID-19 and the approaching hurricane season wasn't stressful enough, NEMO must also take into account the drought and the management and resilience of shelters.
We are already putting our own local protocols together. We've had meetings with our shelter managers this week, and what came out of it is the need for these protocols. And so a team was put together. They are completing that list of protocols for shelters this week. The deputy director is heading this team to ensure that this thing is completed as soon as possible. We are also responding to the drought situation as best as we can. We have, through the World Bank, requested water tanks, mostly for shelters, to ensure that the shelters are equipped with water if there is an event and the persons have to go to shelters.
Director of NEMO, Doreen Gustav, says the organization's resources are already stretched thin in dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. She urges households to lessen the burden and develop family disaster plans.
If you have a tree near your house that is posing some problems and may come down, please do your part and trim the tree or cut it off if you can. If there are waterways that are not clear, please clear them. Ensure that you discuss with your family what your plan is in the event of an emergency. We know that we are getting we'll go out of a drought situation straight into the hurricane season. So you know what that means. Land slippage, possible flooding. So we have to bear in mind that we are living in unprecedented times and persons ought to be prepared.
Gustav says no one knows when disaster can strike, whether it be a hurricane, earthquake, or other emergencies caused by the pandemic. She therefore encourages St. Lucians to be in a perpetual state of preparedness, as the world is currently in the throes of unprecedented times. Gina Filippi, HTS News Force.